welcome to a pep talk with Doris Asukwo. So let me say the name in full, Doris Oluwatoyin Asukwo. And today we want to start a series about intercultural relationship and intercultural marriage. This series hope to achieve, how do I call it, a mutual understanding. It hopes to achieve better agreement. It hopes to achieve a healthy coexistence of people who are from different cultures and have decided to make a decision for life, for love, and for forever. That's what we call it, for life, for love, forever. All right, so a lot of you know that I am a linguist, a Yoruba enthusiast. I teach Yoruba, I translate Yoruba. I mean, I weave everything Yoruba is what I do, but then I got married to someone that is not Yoruba. How do I even cope? Yeah, let's go straight into the question. What is intercultural marriage? Intercultural marriage simply has to do with the coming together of a male and a female from two different cultures, African and European, Yoruba in Nigeria and Igbo in Nigeria. Yoruba in Nigeria and maybe Jamaican. Different cultures coming together to agree to be called husband and wife. Of course, they have to go through the required processes as the culture may require on both sides. What are the things you need to know before entering an intercultural relationship? Number one, you need to know your culture. You need to know where you're coming from. Now, when I say your culture, sometimes it might require that you know your history, the history of where you're coming from, things that concerns your community, your society. Even people that are from within the same culture, there are some historical things that would tell you where you can't go and what you should not do. Do we understand that? So you need to know your own culture, which entails history, background, values, and other things like that. Then you need to find out, very importantly, find out about your spouse culture. What are the things that are acceptable? What are the things that are not acceptable? What do they share in common with your culture, if anything like that exists? And what do they have as contrasts, with your culture? By the time you're able to do that research, it will give you a knowledge-based advantage. Yes, knowledge-based advantage, because knowledge is what? Is power. When you know the culture of where you're going, it will help you, it will arm you with the resources to know what not to do, because the culture does not permit it or accept it, and what to do, so that you can know your onions and do as the case requires. Should there be any cultural clash? Things that must not be done in the culture of your spouse, and it is the same thing that is required of you to do in your culture. Now, this is where we start having serious things to handle. Okay, now you need to find out, why are those things not acceptable in that culture? You can find this online. You can find this by asking your spouse. You can find this by asking your spouse, who might be oblivious of this fact, to ask people in his family. You might be able to find out, why should this thing not be done? Why is it a taboo, for example? It could be historically backed up. It could just be that somebody woke up, maybe a forefather woke up and decided, I don't like this, and it henceforth becomes a taboo. So if there are things that can be negotiated, if there are things that can be negotiated, then you can have a dialogue about it. But if there are things that cannot be negotiated, my darling, don't force it, because you are smaller than the family structure. Yes, except if it is flexible. If that clash is flexible, then you can talk it through. You can make a decision for what you want. Okay, because eventually, when you get married to this spouse, know that this spouse is not in isolation. A lot of the things from the culture are embedded in him or her, and it might end up becoming your own fight. Okay, so you need to understand, why is this thing a clash? Is this clash flexible? Is this clash, written on stone or on rocks? If they are not negotiable, tell yourselves the truth. It is as good as saying you have genotype AS and your spouse has a genotype SS. You are not going anywhere. You want to just happen as a crisis, okay? So this is hard talk, sorry. Like, it is a hard talk, but we need to tell ourselves the truth to avoid headaches later on. So after you have been able to reconcile, iron out your cultural clashes, okay, if your cultural clashes are not written in stones, good for you, I'm so happy for you. But in case there are, you need to tell yourself, I don't have to marry this person. Like, this is not the only person in this entire universe that I must get married to. You will find love elsewhere. Love will find you. Don't kill yourself. Don't wound yourself. Do not bury yourself. Okay? Don't be bent on it must be this person or no other person. It is not written like that anywhere in any religion that I am aware of. In Christianity, God has not said it is only this person that you must marry. And if you don't marry the person, then that's the end. No, I don't think it's like that in Islam. I don't think like that it is like that in the African religion. Okay, so take a deep breath and start again. Love again. Be vulnerable again. Okay, decide that you're going to love and make yourself lovable. Yeah, you will find love, and love will find you. I mean, you will find love. A lot of people love you, really. It's just that you have to make decisions for one person. Make up your mind, you're going to love again. You're going to fight for what you love again. But don't fight an aimless fight. Choose your fight and be sure you're fighting for the right cause. If you're married to anyone who is intolerant of your culture, who has this cultural bias, and it is so loud, defining a lot in your relationship or in your marriage, in your family, now you need to understand that you will now make compromises a lot. It will cost you, okay? It will cost you some patience. It will cost you some understanding. It will cost you that you have several communication. Now I realize that communication is not as easy as it used to be. It's a different thing to communicate intelligibly, and it's a different thing for the person you are communicating to understand what you are saying. You must find a way that the person you're talking to would understand you. That is the dynamic of education. Teachers are great people. Okay, so you need to understand how your spouse understands things so that you can communicate in the language he or she can understand. Let them know, or let him know rather, how what is happening in his own family or what his people are doing to you, that it's hurting you. And I'm a Christian, so you need to pray about it. You need to pray about it. You need the peace of God at that point, because you have entered it. When Wariman say you enter around one chance, you don't enter. I am going to be getting into some practicality of the things I'm talking about. Now, I have a young lady who, got married to another culture, and then the mother-in-law does not want to hear anything about someone from her culture. But the mother-in-law also loves her son so much that she can't say no to whatever her son says. So now look at it. The fight is not against the son, but the woman has an issue with the wife to be. Do you understand? Now, she did not pay attention enough the first time she met them. Do you understand? Because each time she said, Mama, can I help you do this? The woman will respond in, she overreacts about anytime she wants to help. There's a difference between say, oh, thank you, my dear, don't worry, and say, don't worry. You can read body languages, In fact, the Englishman says that action speaks louder than voice. And then the woman will overreact, but she just overlooked it, like, okay, maybe it was the first time. Of course, I'm not saying you should now start, defining every move but yes, define it. Define it and, leave a space for benefit of the doubt. Is it benefit of doubt? Make excuses for them, but don't be too careless. Yeah, you can't afford to be too careless. Now they got married and there's a serious issue. The woman would not want, there's nothing she does that the woman would accept as right. The woman would go as far as asking the son, how often does he have sex with the girl? I mean, in a civilized country. So you need to find out. Do you understand? There are times that you and your spouse will make a decision for what you want, and you will define it to your family members. I mean, both parties. You have to define it for each of their family members. That is necessary. Okay? But other times, there are some things that are beyond you. Do you want to change the grandmother? No, you can't. You won't. You won't. But what you can do is to man your own space and be wise in handling them. You need to understand that culture is the total way of life of the people. So once you have determined and everything is already going on well, and then you know that this is the person you're getting married, someone from another culture, you need to understand that culture is the total way of life. Includes feeding, their dressing, their communication, which is language, their dances, festival, and all that. So you need to find a way. Find a way. How did I find a way to be part of that culture in any way, so that you can start adapting yourself to the new culture? For example, in their meals. So in Yoruba, as a Yoruba person, we know pounded yam is genge. We know amala is genge, right? And then different other meals like that is not the same as my people, my new culture. You need to find out what they eat. Look for ways to learn how to prepare it. Number one, look for ways to learn how to eat it. Look for ways on how to prepare it, because you would need it. It's one of the things that will bond you. It will bond yourself and your spouse together. Feeding, something as simple as eating, yes, it is very, very powerful. So for somebody like me, I had to learn about afang, edi tang. Maybe what's the other name? Edi kaikon. Abi? What else? This one I can't cook. Ekpan cook. That one I can't even cook it yet because I've not seen anybody prepare it. You understand? So it's a lot of things you need to put into this relationship to work. And then he on his side has learned, okay, they even eat pounded yam in his culture, good enough for me. They eat dog meat in his own place too, like in my own place. We share that in common. Palm wine is a cultural thingy for both cultures for me, but it might not be the same for your culture. So you need to find out what they eat that you don't eat. Find out how to prepare it. Afan, they don't eat it in my language. They don't eat it in my place. Nobody, Kilonjabe, KJ, Afan, no. But I learned it. Now I can prepare afang. Call me better wife. Yes, that's who I am. Yeah. I can prepare afang. I can prepare edikaikon. Yes. I can eat unfi. That one you saw. The first time, in fact, first 3 times I ate unfi, I puked. I went to vomit, but now it's like my favorite. I go to the market for unfi only. Do you understand? So it's just a decision away, and then be deliberate about it. Learn to eat it. Learn to prepare it. Know that the people eating it are human beings, and they are not dregs. Do you understand? Like, they're not less of human than you who don't eat it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So respect their culture, respect their meals. Don't say, what nonsense is this? What are you eating? This thing that looks like insect. No. You might say that maybe, on a lighter note, but not when people are even around. You can say that in your closet or in your private conversation with your spouse. But learn to eat and learn to cook what they eat. Appreciate their culture. In Yoruba culture, you wear iro and buba. Abi, we all know it. But in their culture, they wear oyoyo. That oyoyo dress, right? Okay, this is YouTube. It's very elegant, but I don't like big dresses. I like it compact. Even my own iro and buba, I rarely wear it. During my wedding, I didn't do iro and buba. I modernized my own ashoke because, of course, that's what I do. So I was innovative. I am innovative. I do innovation with my attires, my Yoruba cultural attires. So I don't have to. But there's no way you want to innovate oyoyo. It will still be big. That is one of the things that makes it oyoyo. Do you understand? But I have to wear it, and it's beautiful. If you see the uniqueness in the culture and you appreciate it, they see you as somebody that is sensible. You're not looking down on their culture. Do you understand? And then it makes it easy for them to accept you because you respect what they respect. So I think by now we already have like basic things about the cultural differences. Now what you need to know is, for people that have personal bias about your culture, you need to be patient with them. Be very, you need to exercise a lot of patience, because somehow, somewhere, they have justified reasons for whatever bias they have. They are thinking people. They are not dumb. They have brains for them to think. They did not arrive at that bias in a day. So if it's something that you may need to convince them otherwise, for example, when I got to Calabar, I heard this rumor that Yoruba people are dirty. And it's strange, because Yoruba has high respect for hygiene. So I'm surprised that I can even hear it that Yoruba person is dirty. How could you say that? And they didn't say, they were not hiding it. Though not my in-laws, But then I made them see that Yoruba people are not dirty. I think I taught some people some of these our hygienic song, like where Kiyomo gay conore. Don't mind my nose. This song elemi ogbodo gay. I must not call this song, it costs money. Where Kiyomo gay conore jẹun tó dára lásìkò má jẹun jù. I taught them about some of the taboos of Yoruba land that you don't even sit on your mortar and pestle. It's because we are hygienic people. We have consciousness for our personal hygiene. You understand? So I had to convince some of them for like 2 years before they now say, your own is different though. Let them say your own is different. At least when they now say Yoruba people are dirty, and they'll say, she's not like them. You're already putting clarity in their minds. They'll say, not like this one, not like that one. Not. Before you know it, over time, they single you out of the general, fallacy. Because it is fallacy. It is fallacy. And then, philosophers got the fallacy of hasty generalization, because most of these people have not even lived in Yoruba land before. So I realized that this is fallacy, and I just have to live my life in any case. But I decided that I will convince these people that I am not dirty. And as you can see, I am not dirty. And over time, they change their mind. When they will now want to say Yoruba, they'll say some Yoruba people can. I was happy that I was able to achieve that from the same persons who says that Yoruba people are dirty. With time and your patience, with your tolerance, understanding, do you understand? Deliberate attempt. I'm not now saying you should cut your head because you want to prove a point. No. Live your life. Be deliberate about what you want to pass across. Do you understand? And if you do that enough, you'll be good. They will be good. And if they insist, my dear, it is your life. It is their opinion. What does your spouse say? What do you agree? Okay, so this will lead us to saying that yourself and your spouse need to agree on some things. These are things, for example, the language we are going to teach our children. What language will our children learn? What names will they bear? Do you understand? What name, we have first name, and then we have middle names, then surname. Automatically, your surname changes to your spouse's own. I don't know if it's not like that everywhere, but in African and Nigeria, it will change. In fact, it's a big thing. When they say Doris, now people, okay, let me just crack this joke. Somebody told me that, why do people still call you Doris? Why don't you shun it? You are not Mrs. Sasuko. And I'm like, hello, I actually like Doris. Do you understand? But then it's a big thing for us in this part of the world. So, what was I saying? I've forgotten. So just agree on basic things that you want to relate on, and then other things can come in. You can allow, you can disallow, you can understand yourself and come to a compromise, and then life is good. Really, life will be good together.